Hey everyone, Sam and Chris from Wyvern Kodiak. We're here checking out the Dreamtech D3915. Was graciously loaned to us by Fred the Lug. Thank you, Fred, for loaning this and all those other knives that we've been able to review. We really appreciate the kind gesture of offering us some of your collection to check out. Now, before we get started, do me a favor. Smash that like button and give us a subscribe. Check out some of the other videos. We'd love to hear from you as well. So the Dreamtech D3915 is the naming convention that I've been able to find on this knife. And it is, first thoughts, a smaller looking Truffles almost without the hole. Instead it's a thumb stud here. Fit and finish on it's real nice. Let's see, can you hear that? That's some micro milling on there and nice chamfered edges. Looks like there's a spot here to reverse the pocket clip, which is nice. Interesting thumb studs on these things. It looks like those are Damascus thumb studs on here, so pretty nice. Extra jewelry on there. Milled pocket clip with some spring. Let's check that. How does that fit in the pocket here? Oh yeah, that goes right in the pocket, no problem. In and out. Got good retention on it. The ramp on that's pretty nice, so it gets under there. The one thing I will say, and I'm wearing sweatpants right now, is I did feel it grab pulling back out. So some thicker pants here might be grabbing into some of these speed holes that are here. You know, as Chris likes to say, speed holes make you fast, but when they're going in and out of your pockets, apparently it makes you slow. That's just something to be aware of when you're putting that in and out of the pants pockets, is if you have a model with speed holes, they may grab your thicker pants and, you know, it will help to keep keep this hooked into your pants, but when you're pulling it out, it could do some wear on your pants quicker. So let's open this thing up and check it out. Another dual grind Tonto, kind of like the Truffles as well. Really nice though. It's got a nice belt satin grind on it. Satin flats. Edge is nice on it. Flat on the front, hollow on the middle here. Good flat area above the thumb studs here to kind of have your thumb land on. And some jimping on the back here. Now it would have been nice to see some jimping go out further, and it's just because you have really two spots, right? You have this or you have this. And those are kind of the only two places that you can hold this knife. You can't choke up here. There's not really any choil here to speak of to put your finger in without cutting your finger. So ergonomics though, very comfortable. No hot spots, no pinch points. Seems to be that they've done some good work chamfering the edges over here, so there's not really any sharp corners or anything like that. The action is pretty good. You know, I do have to say, you can fidget the ever-loving heck out of this thing, but I'm getting the same problem that I have with the Truffles, and that is the front flipper and the rear flipper. I can only use the rear flipper on this thing because when I do the front flipper, the rear flipper catches me. So, and that could be because I just have too big of hands for this particular setup. There are very few knives that have both the front flipper and the rear flipper that I can do successfully without having any sort of problems or if it doesn't catch me in any way, shape, or form. So all in all, it's same story, different knife when it comes to something like that. So let's do some size comparisons real quick here. We've got a bug out, we've got a PM2, and we are looking at just about bug out size. The bug out might be a smidge bigger, but I mean, we're talking very, very little. So bug out size, PM2 is definitely much bigger. Let's, oh, I almost cut myself on that. That would have been fun. Chris never would have let me live that one down.
Never.
Let's do a size comparison open. And we have a, well, the bug out is a little bit bigger when it's open on that. So you got about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more, bigger than the Dreamtech, and the PM2 is, again, just way bigger. So that is not a comparable size knife when we're talking about this here. Overall statistics on this thing, we're looking at a 3.13 inch blade, 7.32 inches overall, and the weight comes in at 3.65 ounces. So it is a pretty nice light knife. Once you can get these thumb studs, because you know they're not, if you're not perfectly in there, they don't deploy. So they could have executed better on how the thumb studs were designed, but once you get them, this thing can be fidgety as all hell. And you know, I like it. I think it's a pretty cool knife overall. Chris, what are your thoughts on the Dreamtech D3915?
Yep. I like it. It is truffle-esque, and
you just made up a word, truffle-esque.
Yeah, and it also made me hungry. I think that it's beautifully milled. I think that it fits, you know, pretty well in the hand. You know, for me, there are a lot of positives that I did like.
I'm not in the right place again.
But yeah, that's it. Those are lost on me. Don't know that I'll ever be able to get my thumb in there, but I do like it as a place to rest my thumb, or a landing spot, you know, if I were cutting.
Yeah. Do you think this knife would have had a more successful deployment option for the thumb if this was, you know, a thumb disc or a different thumb stud deployment method? Or do you think that this is just ergonomically not suited for it?
I would have probably cut back the liner a little bit more.
Okay.
The scale. They started to, and again, you're doing it just fine, so it probably works for most people. I'm not one of them.
Fair. But again, it's titanium. It's M390. It is a good EDC sized knife. If you can get the deployment options down, it can be a super fidgety knife. I like a lot of what this has to offer, but some execution in certain places could have been better. Let's go to our final thoughts.
So saying my final thoughts on the Dreamtech D3915TK is, you know, as we've talked, you know, in the past many times, I'm not a Tonto guy, but I think this knife was well done. I like the milling. It's very well done there. I think the fit and finish is nice. All of the speed holes
make you feel fast.
I bet I could get my 40 under 10 seconds. You know, so quick like a marsupial.
Or a sloth.
The thumb studs are good for landing and cutting for me, not for deployment. I know we've had mixed reviews on that. I just can't get my thumb to move in the, oh, I just did it. Nope. gone just like that. So I can't get my thumb to move in the same direction that is required to get this thing going. But I will say that, again, I usually like bigger knives. I'm okay with this one. You know, and again, I think a lot of that's fit and finish, and the fact that I can get 4 fingers on this one and have that large landing section for my thumb. You know, again, wide spine, so jimping isn't necessarily needed, but I do a lot of utility cuts. That's where I spend the bulk of my time, and so I'm always grateful when I have something that makes me feel like I'm not going to roll off if my hands are wet. Outside of that, I think that this knife does have a place. You know, I can't use the front flipper. It's the same as we've talked about with several other knives, just the size of our hands and the way that it moves. The rear flipper, front flipper combo, there's very few knives that successfully works for me. I do like the button lock on this. Drops really, really well. I like the way it looks, I like the way it feels in the hand, and I like the fidget factor. So for me, it's a win.
Nice. So I'm kind of on the fence with this knife. You see, I have the same problem that I had with the Truffles, where the back flipper is fine, but the front flipper, when I use it, the back flipper catches me. I have figured out how to use the thumb studs a little bit more. If you get into the nook there, you can get them and deploy the thumb studs. So it has made it a better experience for me than Chris in that sense. That gives me an additional deployment option. I like the pivot lock. It is very Truffles-like. As a matter of fact, I am almost certain that these are made identically in that sense. So there is that factor.
You know, they feel the same.
Yeah, they feel the same.
They feel the same, but inside, mechanically, it is a different lock, but the button itself does feel very Truffles-like.
Yes. It definitely does feel extremely Truffles-like. Even the...
You are quick. Those speed holes work.
Yeah, those speed holes work. The dome that leads up around the pivot lock, so the pivot collar, if you will, is kind of angled a little bit, and that feels just like it as well. The pocket clip is good, though I will say that with the speed holes back there, you do have some places that it could get caught up in. Jimping, you already mentioned. I'm in the same boat. I feel like extending some jimping out there would have been a nice feature, but not a completely necessary, because you're not choking up above the flipper tab, so you're not going to get in over here, or you're going to cut yourself. So your fingers really only has one position, right? I mean, you can put your thumb out a little further, but it's one or the other. I mean, this is kind of your game right here. Micro milling, it's not a super aggressive milling, but I mean, you can hear that on the mic. It's there, it's pronounced, it stands. Not super proud, but it stands there. You can feel it. You can hear it. It's nice. It's definitely good fit and finish. I prefer the Truffles over this. Personally, I prefer the Truffles over this. And this has a better blade steel. This is M390, and Truffles came in S35VN. So this is a superior steel. And with that, this knife is like $30 more than the Truffles. And it is a smaller knife. And I personally would prefer the Truffles over it. So this feels like a less than adequate Truffles to me. That being said, again, it's a nice knife. They did a good job with it. It's just there are just little things that bug the crap out of me on it. I think that's just what it comes down to.
I almost did it.
You almost did it until he cuts his finger off.
If we extend this video like 45, 55 more minutes, I'm confident I will have it down and my opinion will change.
I'm confident that I'm going to have to get a Band-Aid for him.
Fair. Yeah, Sam, didn't try to put this in and out of the pocket, but one of the things, and you're right, on that back side there, there's some openings where it could be a challenge. But I know that you put it in the pocket, in the overhead review. So I'm confident that it will work fine, but I can see that where there could be some problems, in particular if you had, loose baggy pockets.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be an issue. But I would recommend the knife for somebody who just likes to play with knives. Again, M390, it's good. I'm not a Tonto guy, but if you are, then I would say this could be a really good knife for you.
Yeah, and I would recommend the knife as well, but my recommendation would be at a lower price point. I think it is a smaller knife than the Truffles. Yes, it has better blade steel, but if you're just looking for a fidget machine, go buy yourself a Truffles for $30 less. You'll get a bigger knife out of it, and I think it's easier to actuate overall. But, again, that's a personal preference thing. This knife is still very good. So, I'd still say buy it. Just between $200 and $220 seems to me like maybe it's $40 too much. That's my own personal thoughts.
I encourage you to go check out our Truffles video and see what you think. Go watch that, and then jump back into these comments and tell us which one you would purchase.
Again, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.